dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Joe Biden stumbles and mumbles his way through the first presidential debate. I'm Rob on the right. Let's go take a look.
If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death.
Wow, what a turnover. I love how Trump picked up that ball and just ran with it. Biden was totally lost for this whole event. I mean, he either looked completely confused or totally scared.
What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there's more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporations that collude to keep people out of their houses. And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult.
I have no idea what Joe is trying to say here. And obviously CNN doesn't either because they had to ask the question again.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed.
Well, there you have it. I mean, that's probably the most coherent and truthful thing he said all night long. But don't worry, that didn't last very long. Check out this cacophony of lies that he just spews everywhere.
By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look.
Seriously, as a nation, I have to ask, how do we give this guy the keys to the White House? And 40% fewer illegal immigrants? Where does he get that number? But I want to know your opinion. Do you think a president with this many cognitive issues should be running the country? Let me know down in the comments.
When, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior all along. It's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that.
Personally, I think CNN treated Trump fairly in this debate, and they threw well-deserved hardballs at Biden. It kind of reminds me of when MSNBC eviscerated Joe in this interview. You should check it out. They totally tear him apart. Seriously, check it out. And if not, see you around the campus.